Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make over some baskets because I needed some for some of my fall decor. So we're going to make over some wicker and some wooden baskets. So I'm going to start with this one, and this one's just a, I don't know what you call it, a produce basket, I think. But I'm going to give this one coat of the color cotton. And one coat, because this is so light, covered it well. And I'm using a furniture brush here, and I don't even know what kind I'm using. But any round furniture brush is really good for painting baskets. So you don't have to invest in an expensive one. Just get one that is a furniture brush, and it'll make it go a lot faster. So once I get this covered well and let it dry, then I take it outside and spray it with Rust-Oleum Clear Matte Finish. And now I'm going to add some stamps. And I thought about stamping directly onto that basket, but because of the way the basket was made, the stamp just wasn't going to work out. So I'm having to stamp on one layer of a napkin here. So you just pull those plies apart and use the ply that doesn't have any print on it, and then just stamp onto that. And then you can cut that out and decoupage it right on, and it's hard to tell that there's any napkin there. You just see that image. So I made two of these images to decoupage on, and this is an IOD stamp set called Crockery. So this is the Crockery set, and I use it a lot. So I just cut that as close as I can and to the image, and then I just decoupage that on. Now I think this set looks really good on these little produce baskets. And the reason I made two of these is I'm just going to stamp one on one side and then one on the back side. And then once I get these on, then I just take this one outside and spray it also with that Rust-Oleum Clear Matte Finish. And then I stained the little wooden handle at the top. I just stained that with a darker stain, or actually it wasn't a stain. I used some Waverly antiquing wax and just stained that little handle. And then I took some sandpaper and sanded this little basket to just to kind of age it and make it look like it's not freshly painted. And I thought about going over this basket with some glaze, some of the brown glaze, but I decided not to because I know that a lot of people are decorating farmhouse style, and the white is really popular with that, so I didn't want to take away from this white and decided to just leave it like that. But like I said, I did do some sanding on it to just to give it a little bit more of an aged look. And then the next basket's just going to be a very simple makeover because it's kind of an older style basket anyway. And I just want to darken it. That's all I want to do. I'm just going to use this to stage some of my pumpkins. And so I took some of that Waverly wax. And because I don't like that it has almost a reddish tint to it, I mixed a little bit of black in with my wax and then watered it down. And I probably mixed half water and half wax. And then I may have put a few tablespoons of that black in there. Because like I said, it really has a reddish tint to it. That's one thing that I don't like about this wax. But this is a good wax if you're going to water it down. Because it's more liquidy. And it looks like it's going to be black here, but it really is. And I think I just needed to stir it up a little bit more. But it isn't black once you wipe that down. It just gives it more of an aged look versus that reddish tint. And then you just take an old rag and you wipe it dry. And when it dries well, it has a little bit lighter look, but it's still very aged looking. And then the next basket may be one of my favorites. It's also kind of simple, but I like that it has that bark look at the top, and I think this was originally to put flowers in. But I just ripped that plastic out of the inside, and now I'm just going to paint the bottom part only of this basket, because I really like the bark at the top, and I think that it will contrast real well with this white. So I'm just going to give this a couple of coats. This one took a couple of coats. And I'm using a fan brush here because it's easier for me. It's a little bit harder to paint the basket because it's so soft. But as you can see, it's easier for me here to get up next to that bark without getting paint on it. And I said the bottom only, but I do paint the inside of the basket and the very bottom. I just didn't paint that bark. And now I'm going to put a transfer on this one. And this is part of a set, and I'll try to look that one up and put that in the description. But this is a furniture stencil, and it's a very large furniture stencil, and I was only able to use a part of that on a piece, and then I've used the rest of it on just different pieces here and there. And this is just some of the last that I have left over. So I'm going to put some on the front and the back, and I don't know what this says, but it doesn't matter. I just like the look. And sometimes I have trouble getting these transfers to stick on that chalk paint without first clear coating it, and I did forget to clear coat this one first, but I didn't have any issues with it. It still went on really well. So I just waited to clear coat until after I got these transfers on. And I think what I like so much about this basket, I do like the shape of it, but I think what I like so much is with the bark and the white together, gives it kind of a rustic, but then the transfers that I'm using on this gives it more of a feminine look. And so, I don't know, I just think it's a good look together. I like that rustic with the feminine. And if I had somewhere to use this in my bathroom that I'm making over, I would, but I just don't have any place to use this. I'm doing baskets today because I need, like I said, because I need some places to stage some of my pumpkins. But another reason is my friend Carol brought me loads of baskets and some really pretty baskets, and so I wanted to get some of those made over before fall because baskets sell really well for fall. So I just put this on the front and then flip it over and do that very last that I had of this on the back. And I think this basket turned out really cute. And I think this one would look really good with just a couple of towels rolled up and some washcloths. I think it would look really pretty staged in the bathroom, but like I said, I just didn't have room. I still may end up replacing something else with this if I don't like it, but as of now, I don't think I'm going to be able to use it. And even though I think this is more of a feminine, rustic feminine look, I guess, the pumpkins displayed really well in it also. And then the next basket that we're going to make over is going to be a metal basket. Now, I said I was doing wicker and wood, but I forgot I am doing a little metal bucket tote. And this little tote was just galvanized, so I'm going to paint it in the color cotton also. So this one takes 2 coats and 3 coats in some places, but I paint both the inside and out in this color. And once that dries, then I paint the handle. And the reason I painted the handle is because I had to first, I was planning on just staining it. And then, but the little area in between the buckets, there was just no way I could get that with my brush. So I ended up spray painting in between that first and then painting the rest. And I got a little bit of that overspray on my handle. So I'm just painting that black. And then I'm going to use the crockery stamps on this one also. I'm going to use a couple of those crockery stamps, one on each bucket. And I do like the Stays On ink because the name is very appropriate because it does stay on really well. But then I take this outside and give it a coat of the clear matte Rust-Oleum finish also. Because anytime you paint with this chalk paint, any chalk paint needs to be sealed. So spray it with, now I could have put a clear wax sealer on it or just brushed on a top coat, but for all these pieces I just sprayed them. I know I talked about before some of the stamps that are some of my favorites that I use a lot. And there are 4 sets, probably, well, 3 sets, and then 1 large stamp that I use more than anything else. And this crockery stamp set is one. And then I have the typesetting stamp, and that's some large letters. Now I'm using the ink pad here, and this is something I just very recently started doing. And when I don't want to have to sand to get some distress, I don't want to sand this because I don't want it to go down to that raw metal. So I'm just taking my black ink pad and just kind of rubbing across the hot spots, and it works really well to add some distress. But that crockery stamp set is one. The typesetting stamp, and I think that's an IOD stamp. Crockery stamp set is an IOD set. And then I like the redesigned set called Icy Paris. That's one that I use a lot. But then the large stamp that I use is the Kindest Regards, and that's a script. So those are 4 sets that I highly recommend. And I'm not sponsored by any of that, but that's just what I use a lot. And now I'm doing this little wooden bucket. And this is just a square wooden bucket. I don't know if it's to put wine in or what. I really don't have any idea what this is. But I'm painting it inside and out with 2 coats of the color cotton. And then I'm going to put some stamps on this also. And obviously I have to take a little artist brush and trim out around that handle. And I also do the same distress on this one with the ink pad and spray it with the clear matte finish. And then some of these baskets, because they're white, can still be used for some of my Christmas decor if they don't sell before then. And I mentioned the redesigned stamp set called Icy Paris, and both of these are from that. This will be, and this script that I'm going to be adding to the sides and the bottoms. So like I said, I use these a lot. And you can get the redesigned sets on Amazon. It's usually where I order mine. But the IOD sets, you usually have to order those from an individual on Etsy, or if you find a shop that sells IOD products. And I don't say often enough how very grateful I am for each of you. When I started my channel back in November, I wasn't sure anyone would want to watch, and you just don't know how blessed I feel to have so much encouragement and support. And even when I mess up, you lovingly correct me, and I've learned so much from you guys. Again, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I think this little tote was a very simple fix, and it displays flowers really well. Like I said, I'm not real sure what its purpose is. I'm sure one of you may, or more. But like I said, I have no idea what it is, but it makes a good little flower container. Now, I'll probably be doing some more baskets very soon because, like I said, I was given so many that I need to get some of them made over. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.